Hello bro, happy Saturday. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I've been putting off this video for a little bit because I don't want to mess this up. This is a topic I can revisit many times. Today I'm going to speak to you about trauma. You asked me to make a video on this and I've wanted to for a while. I want to start by saying that trauma is the beginning. The way I perceive it is it's like a meteor, and you, your personality, you as you know it, is the planet. The meteor is so big that when it hits the planet, everything goes. But something at its core is released, is freed, is awoken, and slowly brings things around its orbit and creates a new planet. I think people get it wrong with trauma. It's spoke about in such a negative way because yes, it's a negative thing. It's a negative imprint on your mind. But I don't think it's negative. In time, I even believe that trauma can be a gift. I might sound insane about saying that. But trauma is such a big slap in the face that most of the time it forces you to be introspective. It takes you out of life. You have to reform yourself. But if done right in doing that, you come back so much wiser, stronger than you ever were. And most of the time you realize that trauma was just a test. Even an opportunity to level you up. There is different types of consciousness in this world. People are on different levels of being self-aware, introspective, awake, and this is no one's fault. Because most of the time, the thing that separates one conscious level from another conscious level is trauma, is pain. Some of the wisest people were at once the saddest people. I think there was a quote from a TV show where someone asked, I don't really watch much TV, it was when I was a young kid, but it stood out to me. One character asked the other, "Why are you so wise?" And the character responded, "Same as everyone else, I just had a really bad day." Trauma comes in so many different shapes and sizes. It affects people in so many different ways, and I don't want to sit here and tell you how to deal with it like mine is the exact same as yours. But the one consistent thing is it changes you. And what I believe is that not 100% of the things that happen to you are your fault, but 100% of the things that happen to you are your responsibility. No matter how bad it is, no matter what's happened in your life, you and only you can move forward. It's on your plate. Sometimes that's hard to hear because trauma a lot of the time is unfair. Trauma a lot of the time is unjust. A lot of the time it's something bad that has been done to you. And it seems almost stupid, completely out of pocket, that now the fallout from that is your responsibility, but it is. That's one of life's tests. You can always tell someone who's had trauma apart from someone that hasn't. And I mean someone that's come to the other side of it. Stereotypically, from my experience, people that have been through trauma are harder workers. They fight harder. They have more respect in themselves. They go for those extra reps at the gym. They discipline themselves more, and that's because they've already been through something. People that haven't experienced real trauma yet, they don't have that extra thing inside of them to push them on. Because why would they? They've had a comfortable life. And no matter how motivated they get, that comfort is always an option. But most of the time, traumatized people have seen it all been taken away. They've seen it all vanish. I'm not saying the traumatized people are better. It's not anyone's fault how their life has been planned out. But if you're going through trauma right now, if it seems like your entire world is crumbling, I know it's so hard to see this right now because I've been where you are. I definitely haven't experienced what you've experienced. That's unique to you. But the one thing that's consistent with all traumas is it's the beginning. You're grieving something maybe. You're leaving a world behind. Letting go of life as you knew it. But in that destruction, there is creation. You don't feel it right now because everything is still falling down apart and falling down next to you, and your entire world is crumbling. But there is something happening. And that is something new being built as well. It starts off very small. As wounds are healing, so are you. You are growing. Now, there are cases where trauma makes someone weaker. And I'm not going to sit here and belittle these type of people for that. Your response to trauma at first isn't really your choice. But there is a level where you gain control again. And what's about to come out my mouth is going to sound extremely savage, but no matter what you're going through, after a while, it's completely up to you how you deal with it. It's completely up to you when you recover. Because after a while, the trauma isn't keeping you down anymore, just your reaction to it is. Your frame of mind, how you view it, once you've stopped being in a reactionary process, that's all on you. Because trauma is just the beginning, but if you let it, it can be the end. It can kill you inside, and if you let it, it can keep you that way. All trauma is one big lesson. It may not be a lesson you wanted to learn, but you've learned it. And you have two choices. You pick yourself up and get back to it, wiser and stronger than you ever are. You may not feel stronger, but you are. And whether you like it or not, you've just jumped up a conscious level because you've been forced to see things differently. Your choice is to either accept that or sit in your own shit. The latter will seem like you deserve to do that. People will tell you that you deserve to do that. You don't deserve to do that. You are still responsible for your own happiness. It doesn't matter what you've been through. After a while, only you can change your fate. Trauma is a big meteor of change, but do you know what it just becomes after a while? The past. And the longer you let the past affect you, the more stupid you are being to your future self. The past can be a great lesson, a great indicator of what to do, a way to remind you to look at things differently, a new lens. But no matter what it is, if you let something stop you from being who you want to be, that's on you. Because who says trauma is going to come once in your life? Maybe your first trauma is just life trying to prepare you for an even bigger challenge. And if you spend so much time dwelling in this, refusing to improve from this is going to swamp you even more. What do you want to be, a victim or a fighter? No matter what happens to you, the victim mentality is a choice. And if you believe it's not, that's your belief. You can give up some days, you can be defeated, that's fine. No matter what anyone tells you, it's impossible to win every battle, but you can win the war. Trauma can make you a fighter, a warrior. Do you want to be the person that gets swamped by minor inconveniences, or the person that can handle anything, that no matter what is thrown at them, gets up and keeps fighting? Trauma is the beginning, and not only that, it's just another challenge, with the difficulty slightly raised, but it's not going to be your last challenge, and it's definitely not going to be your hardest. Feel the trauma. Let it change you, embrace that. For me, it coincided with letting go of my immaturity and my childhood. Maybe it does the same for you. Embrace the change, grieve the past, grieve what you're letting go of, but after a while, embrace what you have to become. Because that new level of consciousness, yeah, it will be harder. Yeah, that person has more responsibility, but that person is better and will one day be happier. Not just happier than you during the trauma, but happier than you before it. Yes, long-term trauma can make you happier. The act of rebuilding something is just so you can build something better than what was destroyed in the first place. Life is tough, and we all have our unique experiences and challenges, but what everyone shares is the same 24 hours in the day, the same 365 days a year, and the same responsibility to deal with whatever life throws at you. That's no one else's but yours. Embrace that. Take on that responsibility like a warrior. And know that, bro, I believe in you. Trauma is your beginning, and it's just a chapter in your story. And you should be excited to see where that story is going to lead you if you embrace it. Thank you for listening. Say less, do more.